Hello, Facebook world.
Hello.
Hi, I am Yolanda with Harper Therapy here with Giara.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here tonight. It's a great night. I'm very excited. Our team is meeting here in a couple of minutes. So we are going to have a good time of hanging out and eating, because eating's always part of
Connection.
We eat.
Love language.
Right? So, but we wanted to share with you guys some tips tonight before we have our meeting together about how to improve your relationship by learning how to turn towards. And what is that even, like turning towards?
Sounds very fancy. And it's actually not that fancy. It's one of the things that we work in couples therapy. Mm-hmm. And it literally means turning toward your partner physically and verbally. So we have the nonverbal cues, which is when you have a couple in front of you. Have you ever people watched? You kind of know who's fighting, who's not fighting,
right. Just
starting the relationship, because the body language says so much. So when we turn toward each other, it's something that is nonverbal, but there are also some things that we call bids. Bids for connection. It's how we connect to our partners. And the bids can be in all different ways. It can be like a pat on the shoulder. It can be a sigh like, after a long day. It can be something verbal like, I really need a hug today. So bids for connection. And when our partners have those bids for connection, we have two options. We turn towards them, which means that we respond to their need, or we turn away from them, which means that we ignore that bid. And that one is a hard one.
That one is a hard one because that is where, Shaman and I talked last week about vulnerability, right? And there's so much vulnerability in making a bid. So making a bid for connection, whether, we recognize it as that or not, it's like requesting our partner's attention, right? Yes. It's kind of like, hey, do I matter to you? Hey, I'm here. Do you
see me?
Do you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's super vulnerable. And then when our partner makes a bid towards us, it's also a vulnerable thing to respond to it because, again, it's an uncertainty risk, emotional exposure. Right?
And we are animals, creatures of habit. So if we've been in a relationship that doesn't turn towards each other very often, our immediate response is maybe ignoring the sigh or just thinking, here he goes again, or here she goes again. I really don't have time for this. Yeah. And when we decide to turn away or ignore, that's when the hurting starts in a relationship.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we don't even realize what's happening. We don't even realize the importance of that bid, right?
Yes.
And the importance of that sigh or that, hey, what's the weather? Even something as simple as that can be a bid. Right?
And it takes a while to figure out, how do I respond to a bid from my partner, and how do I ask for that attention? So an example that I love, and I was talking with Yolanda just before, it's like, I need something from the supermarket. Yes, okay, we have 15 aisles and 15,000 products. What specifically do you need? I need the cherry tomatoes. When we are bidding for connection for our partners, we must learn slowly to become very specific. And it can be as specific as, I just need to vent. I don't need advice. I don't need you to solve this. I don't need you to go fight anybody over this. I just need to vent.
Yeah, Shaman and I have to. I have to set that conversation up like that quite a bit. If I'm looking for advice, then I just dive into the conversation. But if I need just support and a listening ear, I will have to preface it. I've learned over time to say, "Hey, I'm not looking for you to solve any problems, right?" So it's kind of like a little bit of problem solving, a little bit of like, how do my partner and I dance, right? Where do things kind of go off the grid?
And it's important to have that knowledge of how we respond as well, because sometimes we tend to be the superheroes and want to just take the pain away,
right?
And they just need us to listen. And that bid for attention, we responded to it, but maybe we responded in not the best way possible.
Or not the way that our partner was
that
needing
they were needing it.
Yeah.
So and when we have that, we also have to understand what holds me back from either making a bid or from responding to a bid. Have we been turned away so many times? Have we turned away so many times? And that's something that takes a lot of insight. We have to sit with ourselves. There's nobody else in the room but you, yourself, and that little list of how do I respond.
Right, and that's something that a counselor, right, a relationship counselor can really help with to tease that out, because it does get complicated as you and your partner dance with each other. There have been multiple bids. There have been times that you as your partner and your partner have connected, times that you've turned away from each other. So, what does that look like in your specific relationship?
And kind of understanding that this is like a new exercise routine. At the beginning, it's cumbersome to get to the gym and to start the whole routine, and your muscles will feel kind of forced into something. Your emotional muscles will feel forced into something that seems
emotionally,
natural.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But once you practice it, once you are aware of how you turn toward your partner, how your partner turns toward you, then that emotional muscle responds more naturally.
Yeah. And I would say maybe a natural place or an easier place that couples can practice this is with their electronic devices, right? We've talked before about how that can really impede connection and relationship. So really pay attention if you are on your device and your partner says something to you. That's a bid. Just go ahead and recognize that as a bid and put the phone down.
Yes. And we were talking just before the difference also of both of you sitting on the sofa and watching a movie versus watching a movie together. There's a difference. There's that bid, like, do I want to share this movie with my partner and make comments throughout the movie, which can be annoying to some, but sometimes that is a bid.
Right.
When you say, did you see that? Did he just do that? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Those are bids. And even if you may find them annoying, I sometimes do, but the reality is it's a bid for connection.
Right.
And we have to grab on to that and say, you know what? I can always rewind the movie. I can always watch it sometime later, but I will not have this moment, this bid again. So let me just grab on to that.
And what's super important about that, guys, is that, like Giara was saying, that turning away is the other extreme of that behavior. And that is erosive for trust and connection in your relationship. So that is, over time, super damaging. Like, those things add up. Those turning away, not connecting, adds up over time.
I want to jump on that. Turning away is ignoring. It's not rejecting. Rejecting, when someone makes a bid and you say, honey, right now I am really busy with finishing this email. Can you give me 5 minutes?
Can we circle
that?
back
Yes.
5 minutes? Yeah.
That rejection is a turning against, but you can come back from that because you acknowledged the bid, but you said, right now I'm in the middle of this work email. I'll be with you in 5 minutes.
And what that really says is, I want to set this conversation up for success, and I'm too distracted right now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The turning away is just ignoring. Completely ignoring.
And we all, as human beings, one of our deepest desires is to connect and be seen.
Yeah.
Right? And especially with our partners. So what a great opportunity. So that's your homework, guys.
Let's start turning toward each other.
Right.
And if you find, after you watch this short little video, that you are kind of turning away more than turning toward, give us a call.
Pay attention to that. I cannot stress that enough. That is such a warning sign. This is where things start to unravel in relationships. It's these little bits for connection that we don't pay attention to, that we turn away in, that are super important to pay attention to, so you can start building towards connection, towards the intimacy that you're looking for. So Giara's your lady to help with that. Give us a call if we can help. And you guys practice those bids for connection. Tell us what your favorite bid is. Tell us what a recent bid has been for you guys in your relationships, okay? All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.